Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today, we're at part two of why I should buy gold and silver. If the first part wasn't bad enough, the preppers and stackers must be going crazy. I had to produce a part two because there was a lot of leftover. I just didn't want to make an hour-long video with the numbers. As I said in the first one, the numbers don't lie. So please stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. And you know I'm still rocking the Tifosi Optics. Check. There's a link down below. Stop Struggling Now gear. Check. You go to StopStrugglingNow.com and see the SSN merchandise page, please. And with all that said, welcome. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right. Welcome back to part two. That's right, silver stackers. I want to hear from you. Gold stackers, precious metal stackers, preppers. I want to hear from you. I know there's going to be controversy about this, but I'm giving you the numbers. So when we left off, we were sitting here talking about $372 inflation. $758 is what it's worth today. So in essence, you spent $758 to earn $1,700. You might as well have just, that's double almost, so you might as well have just earned 3% a year, which is the base price of inflation almost. 3% a year. So that's 30 years. Actually, it's not even 3% a year because you divide by 72. So 30 years divided by 72 is 2 point, what is that, 2.2 or something? Yeah, so basically you're earning 2.2% on your money. That's pretty low. You could have put your money in a bank at that point. Banks used to give you 5%, 4%, 3% interest rates, safe and sound certificates of deposit. So I'm on again. So here we are. I'm going to stick with this because I'm still baffled. Here we are. I'm going over a calculator here, compounded interest. So this is based on two things. This is if everything stayed constant, not going up, but it stayed constant where you were spending $372 an ounce of silver back in 1990, and you did that, and you contributed $372 once a year for 30 years. And the reason why I have zero rate of return is because I just wanted to illustrate again, when you're putting your money in gold, silver, precious metals, that one-time price means you put it in a black hole. You're not earning no passive income. You're not earning any money on your money. But that $372 initially that I put in is now valued at $758, except I don't have $758. I don't have any improvement on my money. But the theory is that when things hit the fan, like in 2008, 2009, let's go back to the charts again. Let me go to the silver chart this time. And silver got up to, I don't even know, what, 40, 41, looks like 47. So, in case you guys saw the first part one, you know the Hunt brothers got the silver up to $50 and I think it was 4 cents in 1980. 1980. So from 1980 to 2011, what is that? 31 years? It finally gets back up to 47. That's somebody's lifetime. If you were 25 years old in 1980, you're 55 years old in 2011. 55, 56. You're in retirement age. And if you would have done what the Hunt brothers would have done and said, well, it's still going to go up from here, you'd been sadly mistaken. And I'm hoping, and this is where I don't even want to say the guys' names. There's guys on the internet, YouTube, and everywhere. People know who they are. These so-called gurus who have ever since 2011 and 2012 have been telling people to buy gold and silver. And this is a sidetrack because this is kind of irritating to me because if you'd have bought silver in 2012, it's $33. You bought silver in 2013, it's 1950. You bought it in 2015, 17, 16, 14 in 2015. It's at 17 in 2017. It's at 16 in 2018. And please tell me, look here, ladies and gentlemen, it's 2020. It's 1568 now. So if you were to listen to these gurus who are now claiming that, when stuff hits the fan like it did in 2008, it's going to go back up. Yeah, okay, that's real nice, but the problem is that was a one time event. I mean, between 1980 and 2011, 2012, you basically have a flat line. $4, $5, $6. You have a flat line. 1990 up until 2004 or 5, you had a flat line. 15 years. So if you'd have sat around here investing, doing what people are doing right now from 2015, 2014 till 2020, that's 6 years. And you still wouldn't get your money back out of this. But yet, you would have lost out on all the gains from the stock market. In fact, you could have had your money in a bank account and made more. And so I don't understand. Again, somebody's going to chime in here, I'm pretty sure. But anyhow, before I get back to that little trivial scenario, here's the funny part. The 372 for 30 years is what I'm putting in. Black hole. I'm investing $370 a year, whether it's in gold, silver. I'll act like it's Bitcoin where you can do partials. But $372 for 30 years, all I would have is $11,532 in a black hole. It's gone. It's sitting in a black hole in a bag. The bag is heavy as hell. It's depending on what we're talking about. I'll say gold. So if I stick with the gold, that's an ounce for 30 years. So all I got is 2 pounds. Whatever. But the point I'm trying to make is $11,532 would have been spent. It would be in a black hole. You can't, and you're not liquid. In case of emergency, open up the bag and sell it. The problem is I spent $11,532. What's it worth now? 30 years, that's 30 ounces. You could argue, Eric, that's 30 ounces, but now we'll go in today's money and say it's 1,700. Okay, good. Now you have to sell it. And who are you going to sell it to? Pawn shop? Brokers? Who knows? But I know you're not going to get $1,700. Now, let's go to something else. So, Eric, I know you guys are sitting there going, well, that's pretty cool, man. I would have $40,000 or $50,000. Yeah, you would if you sold it. But in the meantime, for those 30 years that you didn't do nothing, look at this. See down here? 5%. One time. $372. One time. And left it there. And you earn 5% compounded annually. Not compounded monthly, not compounded quarterly, not daily. It's compounded annually. You would have the equivalent of an ounce. And it would be liquid. So I'm sorry, I'm not missing that. But just for giggles and grins, what if we would have put $372 on here annually for 30 years? Wonder what happens. Looky here. We got $27,000. Now, remember that calculation I did with the 3 ounces? Or the 372, and I said you got your 30 ounces and you have about $50,000, right? And it was in a black hole. And this is 5%. So I'm going to move it up to match approximately what you would have. And looky here. Yeah, because we won't get into it. But anyhow, we'll do it this way. I'll go up to the standard bearer of 8.75%. Okay? Now, this is what the stock market basically is done on a conservative note, because if you actually were actively in the stock market, you would have been able to avoid the significant losses in 2007 and 8 or 9, and you also would have been able to avoid the significant loss that those 2 weeks, because you would have sold after you dropped 10, 15, 20%. You wouldn't have let it drop to 30, 35% on your money. You would have saved yourself. But I'll use their conservative figure, and I'm using 8.75%, where I put in $372, and then I invested $372 once a year for 30 years, and I earned 8.75%, which would be the stock market. Guess what? It looks like my money's liquid, and I had no reason to have it in the black hole in the first place. So unless somebody's going to start showing me something different, and in fact, we're going to make this kind of fun. Somebody could actually say, hey, check out my response video. I know somebody who might do a response video. So hopefully you do a response video and make me a believer in this long-term prepper stacking environment. Because I'm only believing in you should have 5% to 10% maximum in a black hole. The rest of it, because those are little soldiers. Money's is used for soldiering up. You can't be putting your soldiers down here in a black hole saying, wait till I die. All right, let's get down to business here. I just want to illustrate, and I'll repeat, $372 initial investment, 1 ounce of gold. Then I put $372 in an account once a year for 30 years, and I get 8.75% on my money, which is basically investing in the stock market index fund. I would have $57,000 in there. All right. Now, let's get down to that silver. And next up, I just wanted to illustrate that there is inflation, and $100 in 1990 is worth $197 today. So that's like putting $200 and putting it in a black hole and letting it sit there. That $100 you put in that you had in 1990 would be eroded, because you would not, what you could buy in 1990 for $100 today is less than a bag of groceries. And you could probably buy 3 or 4 bags of groceries in 1990 for $100. So this is my point about this is like putting your $100 in a black hole and then coming out 30 years later and then telling me, hey, look, the price went up. And I'm like, of course it did, because that's part of inflation. But in the meantime, you could have been earning 5-10% on your money every year, so you would have a lot more money. All right, and here we are with my exact point when I said $100 in a black hole, 30 years later, 3.75%, and this is $302. And you might not understand where I'm going with this $100, but basically what I had the $100 for was because the silver price in 1990 was roughly around $5. I was just using that number. So you would have, in theory, well, I'll just keep it at $5. I'm not going to add any premium on it. But you could add 20 ounces of silver, okay, for that $100. And that 20 ounces of silver to this day would be 20 times 15, which is $300, right? And actually, I wouldn't be able to sell for 15 because nobody's going to give me this actual price right here. But I'll just say, all things equal, we'll just say they give me the $15, okay, an ounce. So that's why I came up with this right here. In order to equal the same amount of 20 pieces, I would have just had to earn 3.75%. That's all. That's what I'm trying to say. So it wouldn't be that much difference, unless I got my math off, but I don't think I do. So we'll see. 20 times 15. Let's see what we got. Yeah, 300. So my math's not off. So again, 3.75% is all I would have had to do. Put my money in $100, leave it at the bank, because back in the day, the bank would have given me 5-6% on my money. Lately, they would not be doing that, but who cares? It would still be liquid. So even if my bank did what they did, started 3-4 years back, where they said, hey, Eric, we're just going to give you 0.15%, I'd have been like, fine, I'll just go buy some stocks and let it ride and earn some dividend money on $100. I mean, either way, 3.75% equals your $302, and 3.75% is awfully low. So if we go back up to where we should be, again, the silver stacker who bought 20 pieces back 30 in 1990, even at 8%, that would be $1,000 I'd have in the bank right now, or in a brokerage account, or in Webull or Robinhood, where you get your free share of stock. If you download the link down below in the description, ladies and gentlemen, you get a free share of stock. So okay, silver stackers, that's pretty much it for part 2. So I want to understand, and anybody that supports this prepping and stacking, please give me a coherent explanation as to how you think this is valuable. Because if I pass away and I had 30 ounces of gold or 30 ounces of silver, due to inflation, sure, my heirs could have this and I can pass it on. And actually, you can pass it on without having any tax or anything like that, because it's actual physical. I can pass it on, no problem. But the thing is, it's all based on inflation. So you could have just given them the equivalent. You could have just said, hey, you know what, I got $50,000 for you as well, sitting in a safe at the house. There would have been no different, except now the difference is one is liquid, where they say, okay, cool, I got 50,000. The other goes, oh, wow, I got 50,000 worth of gold or silver or precious metals. What am I going to do with this? How do I sell this? So they're going to have to run around and sell it and hope that they get a decent price. And we all know that they're not going to get the price that they see on the board. They're not going to get $1,758 an ounce. We all know this. You're going to get less. Just like in silver, you're not going to get $15.68 an ounce when you sell it. You're going to get less than that. So you lose out on that part of the money as well. That reduces what you're claiming that this is saving for. A rainy day. And I left off something from part 1, and I guess I'm not going to be able to get to it because I didn't put it on my screen. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you like my part 1 and my part 2. If anybody has anything to say, please let me know. You know I like to hear about it, and I figured this will be a little controversial for all the preppers and stackers. They might have their feelings hurt, but the fact of the matter is, you could have just kept your money in liquid and in the stock market. And the most important thing is, if you're going to be spending $1,600 an ounce on gold, the most important thing about this is you're taking that money off the table for any additional earning power in real-time money. To me, you're still dealing with real-time money because you have to turn it into fiat. I know what I left off too, and I wish I didn't forget about it. but I did. So I'm going to scroll through some of this because there was something else I did want to talk about. I know this is long, ladies and gentlemen. Please wait just a little longer, but I want to, yeah, I'm not going to be able to get to it. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for listening. If you have any comments or any thoughts on this, don't be shy. Let me know about it. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I don't, like I said, I'm not one of these prepper stacker kind of guys, so you're not going to hurt my feeling. And if you are a prepper stacker and you advocate this, you're still not going to hurt my feelings. That's you. That's what you do. So all I'm trying to say is in today's environment, when people lost their job, when they're out of work, laid off, can't pay their bills, as a stacker, you have ounces of gold or silver or platinum, palladium. You can't just go, hey, download that $10,000 to my account and it's here tomorrow, the next day. You got to go out and find somebody that's going to give you the best price for that and go get it done. Now, the thing that I did leave off, and that's what I wanted to talk about, was the ETFs. GLD is an ETF, and this is how they suppress the gold market. The powers that be. Silver, SLV, ETF. One was started, gold, GLD, was started in 2004. Silver, SLV, was started in 2006. The reason why they could do this is so that they could have it where they can make it look like that is actually gold and silver. But they're not. That's just paper. They're derivatives. And so that's how they're able to manipulate the market. So people are saying, well, how come this stuff isn't rising like it should? Well, that's because there's a difference between paper and physical. And as long as they can sell paper to make it look like and act like physical, then that could keep the price of gold and silver down. And again, we get to the argument at the end of the end game is, when is the end game? If there's no end game, then what is the point of stacking in the first place? And your end game is, I'm going to pass it on to my heirs. Okay, that's great. You can pass on anything. You can pass on cash that you would have earned 8% on your money. What's the difference? If your end game is, I'm going to sell it at some point, well, when do you think that opportunity is going to happen? Because the 2008 Great Recession didn't do it. This pandemic shutdown's not doing it. These guys are going to print money until they're never going to stop printing. They're just going to buy up everything and print money until they buy up everything before they're going to allow the economy to go to 1930. They're not going to let the Great Depression happen again. They're going to print and print and print just to make sure there's money in the population. There will be stimulus package 3. You keep hearing me talk about it for the last 3 weeks. And I don't know why people are going to be shocked when there's a stimulus package 3. We all know this is going to happen. Well, some of us know it's going to happen. But anyhow, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. This is what this channel's all about. Stop struggling now. Sure, we got to take risks sometimes. In fact, I haven't talked about this. The risk. No cell phone bill. Trip rides. Cloud token. Z Black Card. Year and a half ago. Talked about all these a year ago. All of them blew up. As in, never happened. The stuff that they wanted to do never happened. The only ones that still are breathing and have a life, which they should not. Z Black Card, still for whatever reason, is trying to do something. No trade lines, no nothing. No cell bill wireless, blew up. Everybody had to get with a different company. Cloud token, the guy still comes on. The CEO, whatever he wants to call himself, he still comes on saying that the things can still work. Yes, the cloud token still has an app, this, that, and the other. But again, the total concept hasn't actually materialized, and he's still claiming it will. But people now can't get access to their money. Some can, some can't. But they're still open, I'll say. Z Black Card, no trade lines, no sell bill, out of business, and there was four. Trip Rides. They changed their name. It used to have a Y in it, which I don't even know why they did that in the first place, because another company, Wyndham, had Trip as a name. And then they changed the Y to an I, and that's going to be interesting because I believe there's another company that has Trip. Um, so that's going to be interesting. And no, they haven't done anything, because if anybody saw my video about a year ago, or maybe it was 8 months ago, where I outlined that they didn't have the money to even pay to secure the market, meaning you have to, when you enter a market as a rideshare company, you actually have to pay the county, the city fees. And just like when they tried to say they opened up in Miami, I was like, well, how are you going to do that when you haven't paid any fees? You have airports that they get every time somebody gets dropped off, picked up, you got fees. You have to pay the city for, because now you have drivers using toll roads and things like this. That's cost money for repairs and things like that. So that's why they make rideshare company pay fees. These guys didn't act like they even had an office, let alone they had a virtual office. But anyhow, now they're talking about that they're still going to open up, who knows wherever. They didn't open up in Miami, they didn't open up in New York. Now it's somewhere else, and it didn't open up in the 6 states out west. And it's just people are paying them, and that was just stupid. That's why I told everybody here, if, as long as it's free, I would not advise in paying. But anyhow, this is what happens in life. People are always looking for opportunities, including myself. If I think something's a good opportunity, you can only go for it. You just never know if it's going to happen, come to fruition, or you're going to waste money. Like in my case, where I wasted money on the no sell bill. We had a booth out there at an auction, did all kind of things. Yeah, I made a little money back, but the fact of the matter is I spent a hell of a lot more money than I ever got back, and then these guys go out of business. So we never know what's going to win them all. But there seems to be a consistent theme, is that the stock market, 1%ers don't lose, so that's why you should always have something in there. 5% of something in the precious metals, in my opinion. There's other people that say you should have more. Um, and then, of course, you look at other opportunities, whether it's real estate, and that in itself is a genre, because you can have multifamily, single family homes. But again, if anybody ever has any questions or anything, and I try to help, this is the No Guru Zone. All you got to do is hit me up at Eric at StopStruggling.com. And I have no problem with asking questions. I don't charge any fees. There is no consultation fees. There's no fees whatsoever. And sometimes I talk to somebody, and that just reminds me I meant to call somebody today. But anyhow, that's all I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. So keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.